Now, the United Nations Special Envoy for Syria, Geir Pedersen, has appealed for a ceasefire extension in northeastern Syria. Syria's Constitutional Committee will meet for the first time in Geneva on Wednesday. I'm now joined by Ammar Kahf. He's the Chief Executive Director at the Omran Center for Strategic Studies, a policy think tank focusing on Syria. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you.
My first question to you is, what do you expect from these talks? We've heard Geir Pedersen saying he's optimistic, but also saying that this could be just a symbolic beginning of a political process.
Well, I agree. I mean, the root causes of the problem has always been a dictatorial, authoritarian regime that has abused every constitutional and legal text for its own benefit and to justify the killing of over 1 million of the Syrians and displacing more. And so I believe that the constitutional reforms are just a very small part of the process of change in Syria, of giving hope for people and of establishing rule of law. Actually looking into legal texts is perhaps equally as important as reforming constitutional text. And let's remember that this is one of the 4 main baskets defined by the predecessor, de Mistura, the special envoy. And so there are still other baskets of governance, of security, of the elections basket is an entire basket that has been also a game changer in the scene.
Now, I want to ask you about the timing, because a lot has happened in the past month. The situation on the ground has changed. Talk to me about the timing and also who holds the influence now. Is it Russia?
Well, obviously, the Russians have the higher say, and the Russians this morning, the Russian foreign minister said that this Constitutional Committee does not create a political process, which is really challenging because they have been pushing for this constitutional process regardless of what Syrians want or don't want on both sides of the aisle. And so I believe both sides view the Constitution as just one of the means, but not the only game changer.
And would you say that we're witnessing now the end game in Syria, or are we still far away?
I think we're still far away. I think that this is just another page in the story of the plight and the struggle for human rights and rule of law and democratic change in Syria. This is just another phase, hopefully a non-military phase, and a phase that would establish peace for local communities, to establish local governance and have more hope for local communities to reestablish their lives and be able to make the next phase of the change.
And what say, you're talking about local communities, and that ties in very well with what Geir Pedersen said, Syrians, not outsiders, will draft the future constitution. But what support is there for local communities after so many years of war?
Well, I mean, let us be frank. This Constitutional Committee was formed not by Syrians. It was formed by the Astana process, the 3 countries, the guarantors. So it was not formed in consultation or by the free will of the Syrian people per se. But let's move on from that. How much of local communities are connected to the constitutional members, committee members? I think that is a challenge that needs to be fixed in the near future, and connecting local communities with the members of the Constitutional Committee so that they could be best represented.
Absolutely. Ammar Kahf, thanks so much for coming in and speaking to us here on CRT World.